Violence in any form kasi is really unacceptable. Okay? But the thing is, we grew up in a society, okay? Particularly, tayong mga generation XY na, di ba? The baby boomer parents are really very corporal, di ba? So, but studies have really shown that the physical punishment is unacceptable. And even verbal abuse in order to discipline in front of other people is also a form of abuse. And it usually scars a person's moral values, personality. So, like yung sinabi nga kanina, if you discipline a child, you don't need to put the child in a situation where he becomes or she becomes embarrassed in front of the public. Okay, there are ways in which you could discipline a child, like put him aside, talk to the child, and particularly set the things that he or she did wrong. Kaya lang marami sa atin reactive, di ba? When we're in public or when we're placed in a situation na nagwala yung bata, usually are very reactive. Tapos meron, mabigat talaga yung kamay, di ba? Mabigat yung kamay or mabigat yung salita. Okay? So, that actually creates a feeling of abuse in a particular child. Even us, di ba? We don't want to be scolded by our boss in public. More so a child. Okay? So, siguro, I see the point here, no? Because parenting now is really difficult. Okay? Compared to the other times. Now, it's really more difficult. But the thing is, what I wonder is that before our parents, the baby boomers would say, wala naman kasing parental training eh. Hindi namin alam talaga paano magpalaki ng bata. We're just like trial and error. Kung ano yung nakalikahin namin, yun ang ginagawa namin. Di ba? But now I tell the parents that I talk to in parents' conferences, you cannot say that anymore. There's no excuse for you not to be trained or to go through parenting skills training.
May YouTube naman.
Yeah, there are a lot already. Okay? In fact, gusto ko, minsan
alam ko nga yung top 10 ways.
So, para ang tanong dito, there are a lot of parents who enter into parenting without any knowledge of how to be parents.
But you know, what are the studies just to establish the incidence of corporal punishment in the Philippines?
That is wala nga tayo. Wala akong alam na talagang pag-aaral sa akin na talagang merong
na malaganap yan.
Oo, laganap siya kasi talagang lahat tayo laki. Filipinos are generally lahat ng mga parents ngayon, these are the Gen X parents, lumaki sa mga baby boomer parents na talagang laki sa corporal.
Buti naman yung
Even though sabihin nga natin the Gen XY parents are more progressive. Still, okay, probably the training, the experience, okay, they've had before, they may still do corporal punishment every now and then. So, I think the reason siguro for the law is to make everybody aware that corporal punishment is unacceptable. And it is because there's a law. Because we all know naman that corporal punishment is unacceptable in our minds, di ba? In the readings, ganyan. But parents will not necessarily be afraid to execute corporal punishment kasi hindi naman ako ma-regulate ng batas. Oo. Actually, when I read through the law nga, mas talaga makukulong, but they will be like placed in a parental training. Parang ganon. I wouldn't want to use the term rehabilitate kasi hindi naman natin. But remediate. Okay? They will be placed, okay, let's be clear, that's different. Remediation kasi is correction. Okay? So they'll probably be placed in a remediation program so that they would know what's the best possible way to parent a child. Kasi kung natutunan mo is corporal or narinig mo, na-experience mo, ngayon alam mo na may iba pa palang paraan.
Looking at the broader aspect of things, there are a lot of people who say the same thing about society in general, Filipino society. There is a need for
discipline.
For fear and discipline. You also hear that not just for the family, but even for where we are now.
Yeah, okay. But fear is different kasi from discipline eh. You follow because you fear something. You have to follow because it's not that you're fearful, but because there's a law and you want to discipline. So iba eh. Kasi ano nga eh, hindi talaga natin pwede, hindi synonymous ang fear and discipline. Kaya I teach. Okay? Of course, di ba? Now you don't excise fear in students because fear will really not lead to learning. Kasi natatakot lang sila eh. They have to understand that discipline does not mean fear. You could discipline students by not shouting at them, but making them feel that you did something wrong. Pero kasi di ba, old school din ako, laki ako na sinigawan, pinahiya ka. But students now, it will not work. They'll freeze, natakot lang sa'yo, sumunod sa'yo, natakot, pero na hindi niya na-imbibe yung tinuturo mo, sumusunod lang siya kasi natatakot lang siya.